Hello again and welcome to my channel. Today's tutorial is for another of the rectangle shaped projects. It's the shells pattern. It's one of my favourite patterns in a square, but I've been asked to do some more of the rectangle projects, so I chose the shells one as today's tutorial. I'm using double knit yarn, and also I've gone up a size in hook. I'm using a 5.5. The reason for that is that with a smaller hook it did tend to ripple a little bit, so I went up a size. So we're going to start with a chain, and the chain needs to be 6. As always, I'm going to slip knot onto the hook and chain 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch into the first chain. So where normally we would have had 8 sets of 2 double crochets on the square shells pattern, we're going to have 12. So the first stitch, as always, is going to be 3 chain, and that's going to count as the first double, and then we need to do another chain to make it 1 double, 1 chain. We're now going to work another 11 doubles followed by a chain into that same circle. So we've got the equivalent now of 3. So chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. We'll just carry on all the way around until we've got the 12 doubles and 12 one chain spaces. And you can pause the video if you need to until you've caught up. I'll just quickly do the 12. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So chain 1, there's the 12th, and we chain 1 and join into that third chain of the first starting stitch with a slip stitch. You'll be able to pull the middle circle tighter. So we're now going to slip stitch into the first chain space, and we're going to work 3 chain followed by 6 double crochets. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So your work will look like this. I'm going to then do a single crochet into the chain space. We're going to work 7 doubles into the next chain space. There's 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Carry on all the way around doing a single into the next chain space and then 7 doubles into the next chain space. You may find that that you're getting a little bit of rippling at this stage, but don't worry, it will flatten out as we go further along. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then again we're going to single crochet into the next chain space, and then carry on all the way around, working 7 doubles into the next chain space, single crochet into the next, 7 doubles into the next, single into the next, and so on until we get round to the other side, and I'll see you at the end of the row. I've come to the end of the row here, so the final stitch is going to be the last single crochet into the last chain space, and then we're going to join with a slip stitch into the 3rd chain of that first starting stitch. So as you can see, there is a little bit of rippling, but that will flatten out as we go further along. So the next row we're going to flip over, and into the single crochet that we've just worked we're going to slip stitch into that stitch and work 4 chain. That's going to count as 1 double and 1 chain, and into the same stitch we do a 2nd double. We're now going to work 5 chain and skip over to the next single, so we're going to miss all of the doubles on that 7, and we're going to work a corner. So the corner stitch is a double, a chain, a double, a chain, a double, a chain, and a final double, all into that same stitch. Chain 5, and then we're going to skip the 7 stitches here. We're going to work the next corner. So we've got into the single crochet here, we're going to work the same as we've just done at this side. So we've got 1 double, 1 chain, 1 double, 1 chain, 1 double, 1 chain, and a 4th double. So we've now formed the corners at this side. I'm going to work 5 chain, skip the 7 doubles, and into the next single we're going to work 1 double, 1 chain, and 1 double. Work 5 chains, skip the next 7 doubles, and we're going to work the next corner. And the corners are always going to be the same. We're always going to have the 4 doubles with the chain spaces in between. So there we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to chain 5, and now we can work our last corner. So again we've got 1 double, 1 chain, 1 double, 1 chain, 1 double, 1 chain, and 1 double. Remember that if the video is going a little too fast, you can always alter the speed. If you click on the cog and then onto speed, you can knock it down to 0.75 or 0.5, so it will slow the video right down, or you can just pause until you've caught up. So we now do our final 5 chain, and we're going to join into that first stitch, which was the 3 chains. We'll join into the 3rd chain with a slip stitch to fasten off, and then flip over. And at the moment it doesn't look much like a rectangle at all, but it will. So now I'm going to slip stitch along the 3 chains into the 3rd chain. So there we've got 1, 2 and 3, and at this point we're going to do a single crochet into the middle double of these 7, so it's the 4th double. So into the stitch, pick up a loop, and a single. We're now going to work 7 doubles into the next chain space. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. I've done this this sample swatch just in one colour, but it looks quite effective if you do the chain rows in an alternate colour, which you could do on this, but for this particular one I'm just going to stick to one colour. So after the 7 doubles we're going to work a single into the chain space and 7 doubles into the next chain space. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. We're now going to work over this 5 chain, and we're going to work a single again into the 4th double from the last shell row. So we do a single over the chain space to catch it down. We're now going to work 7 doubles in each of the 2 chain spaces with a single in between. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Single crochet into the next chain space, and then another 7 doubles into this next chain space here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So you can see now that we've got the 2 corners worked on this side. We're now going to work into the side that's going to be the longer side of the rectangle. So again, we're going to catch this chain down by doing a single into the 4th double from the previous shell row. Then we're going to skip straight across to this next V, where we're going to work 7 doubles into the chain space. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So there we've got the 2 corners and one side complete. We do exactly the same here with this 5 chain bar here. We're going to go into the 4th double on the shell and do a single over the chain, and then now we're going across to the 3rd corner, where again we're going to work 7 doubles, a single into the next chain space and 7 doubles into the 3rd chain space of the corner. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, single into the next chain space, and now we're going to work 7 doubles into this next chain space here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've now got the 2 corners at this side, we've got the straight side here and a corner, and as you can see the rippling is tending to flatten out on this row. So the next stitch again is in the 4th double. We're going to work over this 5 chain to catch it down with a single, and then straight across to the next corner where we're going to do 7 doubles, a single into the next chain space and 7 doubles into the following chain space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, single into the next chain space and 7 doubles into the following chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, catching down the 5 chain here into the 4th double with a single crochet. That's giving us the second corner on this side. So we've now got 4 corners, 1 straight side here, and we're going to do the final 7 doubles into this chain space here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then we're going to join into the first stitch that we did, which was the single crochet into the 4th double on here. So we just slip stitch into that stitch, and there we've got the start of the rectangle. So again, for the chain row, we're going to flip over and we're going to work 4 chain. That's going to count as 1 double and 1 chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the same stitch we're going to work a second double. And that's going to start the next chain row of the 2 row pattern. Going to work 5 chain, and because again we're on the straight side of the rectangle, we're just going to work 1 double, 1 chain and 1 double into the single from the previous row. We're now coming to the corner, so we're going to work 5 chain, and then instead of just the V stitch, don't forget in the corners we've got a double, a chain, a double, a chain, a double, a chain and a double. So we're always going to have in the corners 4 doubles with 3 chain spaces. Then we're going to work 5 chain, and into the next single we're going to work the normal V-stitch, which is a double, a chain and a double. 5 chain, and that's going to take us across to the next corner, and again in the corner we've got the 4 doubles with a chain 1 in between. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now we're on to the longer side, because we're going to have 2 short sides and 2 long sides to make the rectangle. We're going to work the 5 chain again, and then we're going to do the 2 V's, one into this single, 5 chain and another V-stitch into this single. 5 chains then will bring us over into this next corner, where we're going to do the 4 doubles with a 1 chain in between. To make it easier, if you wanted to, you could use a stitch marker on each corner. I'll just pop one on. So just so that you know which is the corner stitch, you can pop a stitch marker onto each corner so that you'll remember that you need to do the 4 doubles with the 3 chains into each of the corner stitches, and you're just doing the V-stitch, which is 1 double, 1 chain, 1 double into each of the other singles. So I'll carry on around right round to the end of the row here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then because we're not at a corner, we're just going to do a double, a chain and a double into this single, chain 5, skip the 7 doubles of the shell, and into the next stitch we're going to do 1 double, 1 chain and 1 double, chain 5, and here on the marked stitch, because it's the corner stitch, we're going to work double, 1 chain, a double, 1 chain, a double, 1 chain and a double, and you can just move the marker into the middle chain space there. That's where the single's going to be, because you'll do the 7 doubles into the chain spaces at either side of that stitch. So 5 chain, and then over to the short side we're going to work a double, a chain and a double into the single crochet, 5 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again we're at a corner, and you may have put a marker into this single crochet here. We're going to work the double, chain 1, double, chain 1, double, chain 1 and a double. We now do the final 5 chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to join into this first V-stitch, which was the 3 chains with the 4th chain that counts as a double and a chain. So we're going to join into the 3rd chain with a slip stitch. We now turn over, and you can see we've actually got the shape has formed quite well. On the next row, which is this row here, it forms a definite rectangle. So you just carry on in the same way, working the 2 rows, Always in the corners that you may have marked, you need to work 4 doubles with a chain in between, so you'll have 4 doubles and 3 chain spaces, and then you've got your 5 chain and then a V-stitch, the 5 chain and a V-stitch, the 5 chain and a V-stitch, and so on. So each row you will have an extra shell pattern, and that will grow the rectangle. So the next row on this particular one, I'm going to take the hook out of the loop and pull it back to this V stitch here and work the 3 chain, which is the first stitch. You're going to work another 6 stitches into that same chain space, making 7 altogether. That's 4, 5, 6 and 7. And then the next stitch again is the same as before, where we're going to catch this 5 chain space into the 4th double from the previous shell row with a single crochet, and then skip across to the corner where we're going to do 7 doubles, a single into the next chain space and 7 doubles into this following chain space. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and a single into the middle chain space, followed by the 7 doubles, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So as we've got the corner formed, you can see that the next stitch along is going to be the catching down with a single into the 4th double from the shell row, and then we work again the 7 doubles into the next V-stitch, brings you over to the next corner where you're going to work 7 doubles, a single, and then 7 doubles, and then you catch the next stitch down with the single crochet. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. Please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, click on the bell if you want notifications of more videos, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.